like controlling things and getting off to a quick start?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's tough when you're going back and forth with ones and twos, and you lose a guy up there sometimes with the two line, and things can happen pretty quick. So, you got to kind of sit back and look and really try and judge it. But I felt like offensively there was a lot more of a command. I felt like there was a lot more control from the sidelines to the quarterbacks, a lot more efficiency in what we're doing. So I think that helps the quarterbacks in a lot of things that we do too.
Defensive line seemed like it did a really good job slowing down the run game today. Is it feeling like, at least up the middle, you guys are looking strong there?
We got to be strong in the middle, and I think with Copeland and Keese and Brian Wright and that kind of gives you kind of an apex defensively that you got to be really strong down the middle, and they're going to give us a chance to develop those other guys and have guys that can play, so those guys don't have to play 60, 70 snaps. I think it's really going to be what we're going to step back and look at to see if we've developed that here in the first 2.5 weeks of camp.
Feels like in a lot of ways the Rose Bowl is going to come quick, in 2 weeks from today. Can you kind of assess, I know it's a big picture thing, but can you kind of assess where the team is right now, how ready you are for that game right now?
Yeah, we haven't started really being ready. This was the last test. This is, unfortunately in college football, you don't get to have preseason games, or you don't even get like high schools where you can practice with other teams. So this is as close as we can get to being preparing these guys for what they're going to see. And it's not just what they're going to see from them offensively or defensively, but the tempo, the speed of the game, and the situations of the game. So I think we're a lot closer. I know we're a lot closer than we were last year. This next week and a half, this next 3 days out here, we'll still continue to do some stuff and then start preparing to play a football game.
You mentioned last year, and I know you kind of try to challenge these guys a lot of different ways, but for you as a head coach for this team, how much do you take pride in kind of putting out a better product for this team this year?
I mean, it's every day. That's what keeps me laying awake at night. And you don't always want to say, hey, what constitutes a good season, and you're feeling good about what you're doing. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just wins and losses. And, that's kind of, to me, where I am right now, is feeling there's a lot of positive things going. And the way we handle ourselves, the way these guys compete with one another, the way they get right to that edge in their competitive spirit, and their energy levels and finishing plays, and yet they don't go overboard with some of the things that have happened in the past. So I think we're a lot further along, and I'm excited for 2 weeks from now.
Talk about athleticism at the back end of the defense. Through 2 weeks, do you feel like you're seeing what you want there?
We got a real chance. I mean, I'm not saying a lot different from last year, but there's definitely a difference from even last year with some depth at the corner spot, and then obviously some speed there, the ability to play some nickel stuff and move some guys in there to get some more speed. And even when we go nickel, to put some of those, the Jarrell Whites and the Lee Clements into the inside. So it puts a lot more speed for us on the field, and I think that's going to help us create some of that havoc that we're doing.
What do you feel is the biggest positive from today specifically that you saw?
I think the biggest positive is really the whole flow of offense, and I mean that from the headsets, listening to headsets, and how the coaching staff started with just their ability to be efficient in what they're doing, get the play calls in smooth. The guys look like they're more comfortable. I think it's to that point in time where we're starting to focus in on the things that we need to do to be successful and what they can do. It's tough offensively the way we do things. You throw a lot of concepts at them and expect them to understand it, and now as you start honing in on a game situation, you start to really kind of narrow it down and give guys opportunities to play a lot faster what they're doing, and I was real happy about what I saw out there.
On the opposite side, kind of biggest area for improvement you feel you still need in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I think that our ability to make some big plays on offense. I think we got to find it who's going to be able to have that ability to make the play when we need it. Defensively, the same thing. We got to find who's going to be able to make that play, and then the depth of our back end, I think, is where we got to really kind of figure it out. Because there's first game, and a lot of games in our league that there's going to be up tempo. There's going to be 70, 80, 90 snaps at times in games, and you can't play with 11 guys on defense. You got to be able to play with 18, 19 guys, and we got to really do a good job of developing.
Just defensively, I think at one point I looked and saw 5 freshmen on the second unit. Is that getting a look at those guys? How important, to see where they're ready?
We've got a few guys on the defense that have played a lot of snaps, and I think that's the one thing we didn't have the opportunity to do offensively out there today was to get some of those guys out. Garrett Campbell's played a lot of snaps for us, but we don't have the luxury of getting him out. Where Copeland and Broughton, our guys have played a lot of snaps, and we've got some of those 1Bs that we like to say. So the ability to get those guys out a little bit here today and get some of those other guys a lot more snaps, I think that's helped us defensively to develop. Offensively, it's just we just don't have quite the depth just yet.
Speaking of depth, grad transfers, you look, Dino Boyd at left tackle and Cam Jeffries at cornerback and some in the nickel. How important has that been to adjust to that? Because where you came from, that's not something that's really in the...
Don't forget Kyle Trout in there.
Kyle Trout
so right now, we could have 3 possible grad transfer starters, and you know, it's a very unique situation. And I think we've taken a really unique look at it and how we can best maximize what it is that we're doing and how it fits us. And I think we got a good thing going, and I love what these couple guys bring for us right now. So they're not just something out there to add depth; they're something out there to maybe even fill some holes and to create greater competition.
Dokes and Gilbert, how close are those two guys?
Dokes did a little bit yesterday. I didn't want this to be his first day where we really let him go, and Gilbert did a little bit yesterday and the day before, and you know, just one of those things. Another one of those guys that's played a lot of football. You know, and Dokes hasn't played as much football, but he's played in critical times, and you know, so we got to be smart with those guys, and hopefully we get them back here next on Monday full go.
Good. Thanks, guys.